Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new series called Conversations with Exeter Medics. In this series, 8 of my medic friends from Exeter shared their experiences and their journeys into medical school. This series will involve 8 episodes where we will be covering different aspects of medical school and studying at Exeter. Thanks for tuning in, hope you enjoy it, and make sure to subscribe for the upcoming content. We're going to move on to episode 4, Exeter Medics. How do you balance your medical school and personal life?
So I've got 3 children, so it's quite difficult, but what I try and do is work 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, try and book space in university, sort of in between sessions, so I can maximise on revision, and then try to keep home life separate because it's important to get that balance.
Oh, well, it is quite challenging. The content is obviously a lot. I love to-do lists, so I write just like really long to-do lists and just try and tick things off as I go along. But I try to have a good sort of work-life balance. So I'm someone who works quite a lot in the mornings and in the evenings, and I take the afternoons off a lot of the time, so I can enjoy the daylight and things like that. And I also schedule in breaks, so if I've got a birthday party or just going to see friends, then I'll schedule that into my calendar and make sure that I have that time off, so I can just balance doing work and also having fun.
Exactly.
I think, like, typically when you ask this question to medics, they're like, oh, I'm so busy, I'm so stressed, like I work too hard. I don't work hard enough, as you can tell from
Don't say that, Bixie.
No, but like,
as long as you pass the exams for the first year.
When it counts, I work.
Yeah.
But I think I am just enjoying my social life at the same time, and like, I'll do all the things that I need to. I'll go to everything. Obviously, I don't skip things.
Yeah.
And I'll do all the things I need to do. Like, I'll do my PBL work, and I'll do my LSLC. Well, I'll generally do my LSLC, but things like that. But like, you won't catch me working at like 9 PM trying to do flashcards or something. Just because
that's not your
view of my friends. Yeah.
Just say, like, having your own personal timetable to kind of structure things.
Yeah.
But I think it is important to take a break from med school work as well. So,
yeah. Or you'll be burnt out.
Yeah.
Not very well. So I think I mentioned before, so I have a partner. I had a gap year before, so I was living with my partner and working full time, and I now live in student accommodation here, so that was quite a big adjustment. And I'm still trying to find the balance between the two. Medicine, although at Exeter you have quite a free timetable, it still takes up a lot of time and it needs a lot of hard work and commitment, which is something that I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting it to be quite as independent and self-led as it is, which I do think makes having that work-life balance quite difficult, because sometimes I feel like I could just work for 12 plus hours a day and there'd still be loads of stuff to do. Like, there's always something that you could be doing, even though there's nothing that you're gonna like get in trouble for if you don't do. It's sort of all on you. But I do think, in terms of medics, I think the work-life balance here is pretty good. I think people still do have social lives. I go home quite a lot. I spend time with my partner and my family, and I also have time to spend with friends here as well. It's definitely still a work in progress for me, and it is really, really tricky. And I think as a medic, getting like not doing work guilt is quite a big thing, because especially like when you're surrounded by medics like you are in Exeter, there will always be someone that's doing work, but that doesn't mean that you should be doing work as well. And I'm sort of starting to learn that now, but it definitely takes time.
I'll be honest, at the start I was awful at it. I would spend, I think it's because I wasn't as close as my housemates, so in the evenings I would like cook dinner and then I would work until like 10 PM, so my work-life balance was absolutely atrocious. And I think, especially at the start, you don't know how much you have to learn. You don't know how much details to go into, so I found that I was working a lot and I didn't really have that much like
off time.
So, exactly. But then I think now you just, for me, I just had to set myself like clear boundaries and be like, I'm not going to work past a certain time. So for example, I don't tend to work past 7, or like when I have my dinner, that's when I stop working, because otherwise you literally, like I said, you can just fall down like a rabbit hole and then you're just there working and working and working, and then you learn all this stuff which is really interesting, but then you don't have to know it and it doesn't actually benefit you, and then you've like, you know, you put it at the expense of having a social life. So I would just say, like, try and set clear boundaries if you can, but I do understand it's a lot easier said than done, because it took me like 2 terms to do it. So
it just makes you feel guilty when you don't
exactly
study.
And one thing that I would say from like living with medics, especially in first term, because no one knows how much work to do, you go to your housemate, you're like, oh, what are you doing this evening? Oh, I'm working. Then you think, well, why? What work are you doing? And then it stresses you out, and then you work because you think,
because they
know stuff that I don't. So yeah, it can be a bit competitive sometimes. Like
we're gonna come to that. We're gonna come to that topic. Okay.
I wake up early. I think that's really important. I also try to make sure that I'm not only studying all day. I know that that can be really stressful, but I think try to make sure I work out every day, and I also have my work shifts because I'm working part-time. But I think that that makes it easier to kind of structure your study life, because if you only have a limited amount of time to study, you're focusing and making sure those hours are more productive, as opposed to having the whole day to study but only being productive for like 3 hours. So I do make sure that I'm like very structured. I follow a schedule, but I also am aware that sometimes I can't stick to that completely, and that's okay.
Are you taking part in any project or like society in uni? You did mention that you're in Anatomy Society.
Yes.
Anything else, or like for future plans?
Not at the moment. I've seen like they have quite a few opportunities that I get emails about, but at the moment I'm kind of just trying to just like keep afloat with my work, so I don't have a lot of like time, because I'm really bad at time management still. I don't have a lot of time to think about doing other things as well.
So it's on hold at the moment, but I was part of an internship with a researcher who's working around ADHD, and she's developed this toolkit that goes into schools. I've put that on the back burner for a while because obviously exams coming up and things, but yeah, there's lots of opportunities to do different, to be in parts involved with research here.
It's become a running joke among my year group that I'm just involved in every single society. You probably know that.
Yeah, I was like, how can she make time for everything?
So yeah, I would definitely endorse joining a society. So currently for me, I'm part of UN Women, MSF, Amnesty, Student Action for Refugees, Surgical Society, Clinical Med Society, and a few more I can't remember, but yeah, quite a few societies.
Oh, too many.
Too many, yeah.
Okay.
But I definitely recommend getting involved. Again, it's about what interests you. So if you really like surgery, join Surgical Society. If you really like musical theatre, join Musical Theatre Society. It's just great. There's something for everyone, and you know you'll never be short of entertainment when it comes to these societies. So yeah, definitely put yourself out there in Freshers Week.
I'm doing for the Christian Union. I'm one of the leaders for one of the Bible study things next year. So I'll do like the St. Luke's one. So all the people who are in Roancroft who want to do it, I'm one of the leaders for that. Which is cool.
Yeah. So people should be able to see you there if they come to Exeter. You did mention that you're in Anatomy Society.
Yes.
Anything else, or like for future plans?
Not at the moment. I've seen like they have quite a few opportunities that I get emails about, but at the moment I'm kind of just trying to just like keep afloat with my work, so I don't have a lot of like time, because I'm really bad at time management still. I don't have a lot of time to think about doing other things as well.
So as I said, I'm part of the Cinema Society, so I watch sort of films weekly on the main campus. In terms of actual projects, not really.
Currently, no. I feel like because I'm so busy with extracurriculars, I also tutor. So I tutor students in A-level biology as well, and I'm learning to drive. So there's a lot of things going on and balancing. So I don't currently, but I would really like to in the future, maybe go to some conferences and just participate in more projects and more studies, because I know that other students doing different subjects, doing studies that I'd quite like to participate in.
So I'm a Street Doctors volunteer, an Into Med School mentor, a Miss Wales finalist. I say Miss Wales finalist has taken up most of my time.
and then it's called Siarad, where I teach people to speak Welsh.
Okay.